do better next year.
Do you think one of the reasons that you've came sixth is because of Tommy Dunn's team talks? Because he is very boring to listen to, isn't he? A lot of people say to me when they're driving the car, they turn the radio off when he comes on.
Oh, well, that's on the radio. I suppose it's different in the dressing room, you know. He's I've always been able to get up for matches anyway under him, so I not want to say he's boring, you know. I'm not going to hammer my manager anyway. I get the sack next week.
No, tell us all about him, really, we want to know.
You probably know more about him than I do.
Mine would have to be edited, but I have to say.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to get hammered.
Tell me one thing, have you got the toilet on the bus yet? That's what I want.
We have just. Took a year, but we've got it now.
For people watching the show, when we played for Cork City in the last couple of years, there was no toilet on the bus, so we would stop on the motorway and piss on the side of the street while all the cars would beep at us while we passed. So it was a bit embarrassing considering there was 20 lads in Cork City tracksuits on the side of the road. So I'm glad to hear that we have got back the toilet on the bus.
Yeah, we have. Still haven't got tables or anything. No DVD. We have a DVD player, but it doesn't work. Or else there's people bringing some seriously dodgy DVDs. But yeah, other than that, we've got a toilet, so it's an improvement.
One of the things I miss the most is Danny Murphy's dyeing his hair and straighteners after the games. Is it still going on?
No, I think he's kind of gotten to grips now that he's old. He's getting hammered now, but he's kind of gone silver now, so he's keeping it silver. He's starting to look old now. He's turned 30 the other day, so he's getting a hammering over that.
And my last question about the staff, what about Jerry's ball bags? Is he still looking after them?
Oh, they're the lowest hanging ball bags I've ever seen in there, I can tell you that much.
I read something from Conor Coonan when you won the All-Ireland. He said, sometimes you want something more than it wants you. Do you think that's the case with him right now?
I don't know whether that's, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, I don't think you can,
It was good advice from him.
Possibly good advice.
Should he take it himself?
I suppose maybe we can all take his advice on a board at times, but doesn't mean it's correct all the time.
The one problem I have with GA players is the boring answers they give every week on the Sunday game and in their interviews. Why can't they come out and absolutely just cane somebody and say what they feel?
Oh, I suppose maybe players, we're still amateurs in the day, so guys be careful. Like, but at the same time, the same accusation can be thrown towards the soccer players and even analysts and stuff. Like, the match of the day is nice and safe and cosy, but then you've Giles and Dunphy then sedating fellas on TV, which is a bit different,
But do you find, even when I watch the All-Ireland and when I watch Kilkenny play in the All-Ireland final and see them in the hotels, I just can't understand how bad their suits are. They're flary suits. They're like as they're in the 80s. Why is this with GA?
I'm sure maybe they have no sense of fashion up Kilkenny, and the players have no choice but to wear the suit. If you don't wear the suit, you might get your game.
I actually have a very good idea for the GA. I think if the way you don't get paid, I think there's a lot of resentment towards soccer players. When I was playing in Ireland especially, I think the GA lads would look down because we would be getting paid and they're not getting paid and they're training just as hard as us. So do you think there is that kind of animosity between the GA players and the Aircom League players?
I suppose in one sense, it's been shown a few times before, we're amateurs, but we're fitter than the soccer players, so in a sense there might be a small
I have to disagree with that.
I'm sure again we all were
do you actually think you're fitter than the soccer players?
Well, I think there's times before, a few years ago, going back, could be 8 or 9 years ago, I remember Graham Geraghty going over to Arsenal on trial and he just blew me away with his fitness, But
Tony Adams wasn't the piston before, I had to realise that.
Maybe so.
And Ray Fowler.
Maybe so, but still a relevant point, but I don't think there's no direct animosity. I think at the end of the day, if you ask most GA players, they'd love to be professional, but realize obviously that it can't be because of just the way the structures are as such, so we'd obviously love professional, but there wouldn't be any direct animosity towards soccer players as such,
One of the things I think that they should bring into GA is that why can't you have a bonus if you're not getting paid? Why can't, say, the player of the season get 50,000 bonus?
Well, I suppose there is a small bit, players who get kind of maybe player of the year, or there might be certain bonuses, regards to GPA before, like cars and stuff like that, but maybe it is something worth. Or at the end of the year, if you get an award, there will be a certain bonus, but maybe this should be in place. Maybe if a team does win All-Ireland, rather than just making a player of the year, a team of the year as such, yes, it's maybe something worthwhile as far as thinking about.
I remember when I was playing, we used to get bonuses for goals for one of the clubs I used to play for, and we used to all argue over penalties and free kicks, and we'd be all fighting, standing over the ball. I think if they brought that in, maybe for the top goal scorer for the year, would it not be great to see the Gooch fighting Galvin at the start, trying to get the ball to take a penalty and trying to get that extra bit of cash at the end of the week?
There's some selfish forwards out there. I think if there was bonuses brought in for that, I think some players will never get a ball.
Would not make it more exciting, do you not think?
Might make it exciting, like, you know, but at the end of the day it's a team game and the best team wins, you know, so I don't think we'd want, you know, players to be too selfish on the pitch.
One of my highlights every year is Cork Kerry, since I was a kid going to the games. The last few years, even more so, when I get to see going out trying to kill Paul Galvin in every game. Is there a reason? Because every time I look at the game, somebody's on top hitting him or whatever, and I think the lad gets no chance at all.
No, I think the whole thing is exaggerated regards, you know, there's obviously a huge rivalry between Cork and Kerry, and no matter who's playing for Kerry, at the end of the day we want to beat them so badly, but they want to beat us as well, like, you know, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, listen, Galvin's a good player, like, but it's not about winning.
You must pick him out in the change room, the manager must say, you know, Galvin's a bit of a hothead, lads, let's get him. Let's take him out. Because as soon as he goes out in the pitch, you're at him. You're always at him, aren't you? Really?
I think at times maybe he might draw a bit of trouble in himself too, like, you know, but there wouldn't be any individual targeting of players, you know, but at the end of the day he's a very good player. So then no matter who you're playing, if a player's talent, you're going to want to get the better of him, so, and that's the way it is.
How'd you find the approach that he's kind of gone down? He's kind of gone down more of with the fashion, more of a soccer sense, rather than a typical GA player. Some people have accepted it, other people haven't. What's your...
I suppose I love the way you call it a soccer sense of fashion, like, you know, because
he dresses well.
It's definitely something different.
I've seen Kilkenny suits for this All-Ireland last year. I'm not kidding you. I could not believe when I seen it.
I know, but I suppose, look, in the day, look, everyone's entitled to wear what they want, you know, and it's something different, I suppose, you know, but that's what he's entitled to.
The second thing I noticed online this week was, you know eBay. It's quite a
Yes,
popular,
I'm very familiar with eBay.
It's quite a popular online auction site, and you know you can sell anything on there.
Yeah.
Air umbrellas, toys, cars is quite a popular one as well, apparently.
Yeah.
And a father in America has decided, you know, he owns a garage, so he's using eBay to sell his cars. So we have a graphic here of the ad on his website, if we can just get it up on screen. And to entice people to buy the car, he used a sexy lady. Any time there, lads?
I like sexy ladies. Oh,
The ad looks a lot like our logo. There it is, okay? So that's the eBay page. It looks quite normal until you notice the car has a little sexy lady selling it.
There's nothing wrong with a sexy lady, no.
No, but the man used his daughter. And
That's totally wrong, no.
She's in various poses and she's leaning over the car.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's now sold, the car, for $7,500. But some people were wondering if they bought the car, would she come with it? And he was like, no, not for that price.
You'd have to jack it up a little bit.
Yeah, you'd have to jack it up for her to jack you off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what is the Blue Book pricing for that girl?
I didn't look it up. I thought you might know.
Yeah, what year is she?
I don't know. I presume she's at least 18. You'd hope so.
Yeah, I would definitely hope so.
But then that got me thinking, could you use women to sell other things on the internet?
I think that got you thinking specifically, this woman, could we sell things with this woman specifically?
Yeah, so yesterday I sat down and created some adverts that you can see now on screen. The first was, you know, being Ireland, could you use a sexy lady to sell cattle? Because have you ever been to a mart?
No, I haven't been to
well, it's
a
just
mart.
old men shouting at cattle as they parade around the ring.
Yeah.
And then potatoes are quite popular here, so I thought, you know...
I don't think you need any help selling potatoes, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I'd definitely buy a bag of potatoes off her now.
I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating a whole bag of potatoes.
Kids' toys was a weird one, to sell a bikini-clad woman.
Yeah, that's a giant kid's toy. She's a tiny lady.
And the final one then was washing machines.
Yeah, that's from a laundromat. No, they're not for sale.
You could buy all four and you get a free basket.
God, did you just get Photoshop yesterday?
Yeah. I thought they looked quite well.
You went a bit mad, did you?
Yeah.
I was actually impressed.
I thought that they looked quite natural.
Yeah.
So do you think it was a good idea or a bad idea by him to use his own daughter to sell his car?
That depends. Did he make much more money than he should have?
I don't know.
Didn't look
I
into
missed the auction, to be honest.
Yeah, that's for journalists.
Sweet. Who does that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, what else have you got for us this week?
Where in the world is McAfee?
Yes, my favourite segment.
McAfee Roundup. So over the weekend, there was reports that he'd been caught.
Okay.
It was untrue. It was actually information leaked by McAfee himself to give himself a chance to escape the country unnoticed.
Okay. He was in Belize.
He was in Belize.
Wherever that is, we actually don't know.
You see, John McAfee's on the run, if you haven't been following this story. He's being chased for the murder of his neighbour, Gregory Saul.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. But they do want him for questioning, and he refuses to go in because he's batshit insane and probably did it. So he's now fled the country. He's finally gotten out of there. He's been on the run since November 8, and he said on his blog that he's left the country, but he's not saying to what country.
Okay.
Anyway, he did an interview with Vice magazine yesterday.
Who no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, never heard of Vice magazine.
It's big somewhere, though.
The man has an enormous ego. Like, he's on the run from the police and he can't stay away from Facebook or his blog for 10 minutes. And then he goes for interviews with Vice magazine. But they took a picture during the interview of McAfee with the Vice magazine's editor-in-chief, and it was with an iPhone. And I don't know if you know this, but iPhones actually embed your GPS location when you take a picture.
Okay. So the police now know where he is then, surely?
He is in Guatemala.
Oh.
It's
We
easy.
still don't know where that is.
You just knock it into Google Maps and there he is.
Okay. So...
Yeah. He's actually in Rio Dulce in the Parque Nacional Rio Dulce, Guatemala.
Oh, I know that place.
Yeah. According to the GPS, he's actually in the swimming pool.
Oh, really?
The marker is in a swimming pool. But
so that means surely he'll be caught then, unless he's somehow toyed with the system.
well, McAfee says that he sent them like a wrong address, that he knew it was going to happen, and he manipulated the XIF data on the image.
Whatever that means.
He definitely didn't do that. He was just kind of, oh, I manipulated the XIF data on the image, and don't come looking for me here in Guatemala.
Is his blog still publishing content? Because
Yeah.
before he said he was going to automatically set it up.
Yeah, but it's still
just publishes
still updating every day because he hasn't been caught. Still doing mental shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Is he still involved with the virus company? No.
Not at all. No,
He's sold it.
I think he just does yoga now and
Hides in
shoots
boxes.
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of related in terms of iPhone was that yesterday, texting turned 20.
Oh,
In 1992,
that was a tentative segue.
yeah, in the lightest of possible ways. Basically, in 1992, the first text message was sent,
Yeah.
and it consisted of 2 words, Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's nice. Was it Christmas time?
No, it wasn't. It was. Vodafone were developing the system as an in-company paging service.
Oh, okay.
So they were going to just page each other in Vodafone UK, but they didn't realise texting was going to become so big, and obviously everyone used it now. I heard a statistic yesterday that apparently 25 million texts a day are sent in Ireland alone.
Yeah, we love texting though.
Yeah.
Like even, especially in the UK and Ireland, like we got it years before they started doing it over in America.
Yeah, they were big into pagers.
Yeah, they would have like one phone for ringing people, and then they brought out like phones that just text.
Yeah.
So they'd be like...
They're getting
get a
into it
text
now,
phone
though, I
and then-
think.
Yeah,
A bit more.
because you got the iPhones, which has everything in it.
Pretty much. So then that got me thinking, you know, texting brought with it so much more new languages and new words.
It was a culture change.
It was. So, you know, a lot of people are using like LOL
Yeah.
and TGIF.
The bastardization of the English language.
Yeah, it's really being culled altogether. So then I said, how about I quiz you on text words that people are now using? To be
Yeah.
honest, I've never used any of these.
Are these common? Well, I know these.
Probably not, but I thought it would be interesting to see. Maybe you will. This could be an interesting test for you, right? Ideally, we'd have lovely tense music here.
Bum, 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 bum.
The prize, if you get at least 3 of these correct, is an air umbrella.
But I made the I know.
Yeah, but I bought it off you for a biro.
Ah.
Okay, so the first one, right?
Yes. I'm
Someone
ready.
sent you a text message and it just said 1174.
1174. 1 is it just not a
Just the digits, it was 1174.
1174? Live for.
No, it means nude club.
Why would you just send nude club?
Like, you know, if you text someone, where are you?
The nude club.
It's quicker to text 1174.
Why don't you just go, nude club?
The next one is 2BZ4UQT.
2BZ for UQT.
If you actually think about that one, you get it.
2B zebras for my quiet time.
No, it's too busy for you QT, too busy for you QT.
That's awful.
You might get this one, 420.
420. That's the time that you smoke marijuana.
Yes, that's exactly what it means. This one is just stupid, right? 53X.
53X. 53. No.
Sex, because the digits look like the letters, but then it's three characters, so why not just write sex?
You see, people who actually like put together these studies are like middle-aged men who are like trying to just think of stuff to make it seem controversial, like banging 3 guys at one time.
This is my personal favourite. If you got this string of capital letters, what would it mean? ABITHIWTITB.
ABITH.
IWTITB. And bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Is your gran texting? Is that what's happening there? I remember there was a one, and it was, I can't remember the letter, but it was laughing so hard my sombrero fell off and I dropped my taco.
I always receive that when I'm in Mexico.
That's racist.
This one is quite strange. I presume a lot of geologists use it, right?
Yeah.
It's BFR.
Before.
No, it means big fucking rock.
Big fucking rock. Is that not drugs? Like big fucking rock? Like.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've never come across this sentence. If someone said to you, no, they just met someone, and you were like, oh, what did you think of them? And then they text you back, Gagfi.
Gagfi.
Yeah. Gives a gay first impression.
God, I was looking for a word for that last week.
I only met
When
you
did
last week. This one, I don't even know where someone uses it. KYSOTI. I'll leave you with this one.
No.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Keep your stick on the ice. Canada.
Yeah, maybe it's a hockey thing.
It's definitely a hockey thing.
Yeah, so you would fail if you were receiving text messages.
So I don't win the air umbrella.
You don't win the air umbrella,
Yeah.
so you get to keep it anyway.
I still text like with the full, dear mother.
Yeah,
How are you on this
concern?
Christmas is like porn. It looks great on screen, but it's hard to match up to. Jay, how do you feel about Christmas?
Look, I'll be honest with you, I think Christmas is empty as a drum. Looking at it this way, it's the season of caring, goodwill and a load of other cliches, along with the cliches of, you know, we've lost the true spirit of Christmas, it's all commercial. The reality of Christmas is that it's the one time of the year when we're kind of forced to care about other people. We get all the fucking guilt out of our system for being assholes for the rest of the year, and then right when it's over, we get into New Year, and much like our resolutions, there goes all the caring, and we go right back to being assholes.
You're a little bundle of joy, Jay.
You're a super Grinch.
I'm the mega Grinch. I'm the Incredible Hulk of Grinches, basically. But I'm also right. And quite honestly, I am. I mean, you look at it. How many times do you see people giving as much money to charity? And I know it's a good thing to do, but ultimately, why aren't we doing that the whole year round? I mean, why aren't we living these values the whole year round? Because we don't care. We don't care and we get out of our systems.
No, I completely disagree. Christmas is a fantastic period of time. I take your point, frankly. I do take your point that it's a time where people perhaps give more than they would all year round, but I'm not necessarily so sure that it's a time where they just get rid of all their guilt in one big moment. Christmas brings people together. Christmas is a fantastic time of year.
Okay, it does bring people together, but I mean, how well does that work out? Like, how often have you been at some sort of family event that ended up with complete drunkenness from the relatives, that ended up with like all sorts of family secrets coming out, all sorts of inappropriateness and just the awkward moment? And that's not even my problem with Christmas. I think that's a good thing. I think it's good to get all that shit out there. My problem is just the sheer hollowness and emptiness of it.
In fairness to Jay, a recent poll in our office suggested that 62% of people dislike having to spend Christmas Day with their families.
Well,
Chris.
they're absolutely wrong, for a start. The fact is that you say this poll says that 62% or whatever of our people don't like to be at families. I'm sorry, but Christmas is one of those times. It's one of the 364 days a year you can bugger off. You don't need to be with your family. Christmas gives people that chance to finally sit at home as a family, together, bring in the uncles that you haven't seen for 10 years, bring in the cousins.
It's not that it gives you that chance. You have that chance all through the year. You're telling me that out of 364 other days in the year, you couldn't create the opportunity to bring everybody together. You probably could. People don't want to do it, but they're obligated to do it at Christmas. Christmas is this load of obligations.
If they're obligated to do it at
Christmas... Christmas is fascist.
If they're obligated to do it at Christmas, that's a good thing. If the fact is that you're saying that they could organise it the year round, some of these people, some families out there, couldn't organise it all year round. Some people live in different countries. Some people come to their home country for one specific reason. You do away with Christmas. You get rid of the whole thing. You lose that opportunity forever.
Jay, how would you feel about opening the pubs on Christmas Day?
Oh my God, that would be the best thing ever.
Do you think?
What, just for getting drunk?
Well, no, the lonely people who have nowhere to go on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Not everyone has a perfect Coca-Cola family, Chris.
I agree. Not everyone does have a perfect Coca-Cola family, and I think, I sort of tag myself onto Jay's point here, that if everyone doesn't have a proper Coca-Cola family, we should be doing more to support those people year-round, so that when it comes to Christmas, there is that option, they have it there.
But we're not actually going to do more to support people year-round, because you can just do it all at Christmas. And also, this whole thing saying that oh, if you did away with Christmas, then you do away with the opportunity to see family. What that actually says to me is that family isn't all that important if you won't make the opportunity, if you won't make the time, if you can't force it through. Certainly it facilitates this happening, but it also obligates people into it. And then you're obligated to say nice things, to get gifts. Jesus Christ, some of the fucking gifts that I've got down through the years. I mean, I know that like every day of your life is a gift, but some days are a pair of socks, and Christmas Day for me is always a pair of socks.
Oh, hang
Actually,
on.
maybe
Everybody
some
needs
people can only
socks.
afford a pair of socks.
Oh yeah, I mean some people
must
can
say,
only afford
I
a pair of
think
socks,
that-
but I prefer if somebody took a cornflakes box, you know, cut it up, made some origami or made like a plane out of the cornflakes box. That would be cheaper than a pair of socks. No, I mean it's like the gifts themselves, and
I
this
would say,
isn't going
I
into
think-
any kind of commercialism or railing against the money that's made. I don't care. Go forth, make money. But I just think the whole thing is so forced, so contrived, and so empty.
I think it actually comes from the media, this notion of the picture perfect family, which is obviously pushed by the corporates, that we all have a family to go home to, whereas in reality, not everybody has a family to go to. I mean, I look at when I worked in a hospital as a healthcare assistant, I always found people coming into A&E in the days up to Christmas, and the doctors and the nurses, they'd know there's nothing wrong with them, but they'd nearly let them stay. In fact, they would let them stay. They'd let them check in and let them be looked at and sit in a bed for a few days over Christmas, just so they wouldn't have to go home to a cold, empty house with no food. Also, I found in my work as a solicitor that we have clients, criminal clients, who would rather stay on bail or stay in jail for Christmas instead of coming out because they save having to spend time with their family over Christmas by being in jail. I suggest if you want to make these criminals pay, you should make them have to spend Christmas Day with their families. Then maybe you'll reduce the rates of recidivism.
So you'd kick them out. You kick them all back onto the streets.
I'd send
You
them.
kick them out of
I would
prison.
kick them
What
out
a
of
prison.
statement.
I'd make
What a
them
statement for a
Get
lawyer.
out. Get out of
I would
jail.
make them spend time with their families.
Yeah, well, to be honest
I think
with you,
that's a much worse
I also
punishment
have a
than
feeling though
prison
on that one.
for a lot of people.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. That would be a good punishment to make them stay with their families. Which, come on,
No,
Chris.
look.
No. Hang on. There's something else here
Oh,
as well.
come on then, please.
But let's be honest. I mean, the kids in these families, the families themselves, they're probably better off having, you know, Mad Mike, you know, in prison for the Christmas rather than like hanging around giving them a present of a knuckle sandwich.
Well, in fairness, you've got to look at the family backgrounds that a lot of criminals are coming from too. They don't have great families, and I mean, maybe if they had something better to go home to, they wouldn't be so happy to go back into jail.
Okay, look, some of you, like, I agree with some of your points. Some of your points are valid here, but what you're talking...
No, all of them are valid. Chris.
Not all
No,
of them.
all of them,
Not all.
Chris.
Actually,
Well,
I was
hang on
wrong.
a second, Breed.
And
Let me
all
just
your-
jump in on this.
You made some very intelligent ones, though, I will
You were
say.
talking about the minority here. You are talking about the minority. You talk about the people who don't have families to go to. You talk about the people who are out on the streets. You talk about this. You're talking about getting rid of the whole institution of Christmas. What about the majority out there, the larger majority, I would suggest, who feel that Christmas is a fantastic holiday, that's something good, something nice, something good to come to, that they look forward to the rest of the year?
Do you think that minority should just go away, go skiing, do something like that for the Christmas?
Do you mean the Scrooge Grinch minority?
Yes.
To which I am a proud member, yeah?
Well, yeah,
Or
bugger
should
off
they-
somewhere else if you
Or
don't want to
should
like
they
it.
arrange orphan parties for the people who have
The
nowhere to go
orphan
to?
parties actually I think are a very good idea, and I have experience of the orphan parties myself. Basically what an orphan party is, let's say you're a backpacker or an immigrant, you're in a different city, it could be Toronto, it could be Melbourne, whatever. Everybody gets together, loads of people that you've never met before, that you don't know, and you all come together and you all hang out. Now that's good because you actually meet new people over Christmas. You meet people who you have something in common with other than just some blood like your family. That is something, and that would make it different. But in terms of like going off, going skiing, doing that kind of a thing for Christmas, let's be honest, there's no escaping Christmas. Christmas is like the Gestapo in Germany. It's everywhere. There is no escaping the oppression. There is no escaping the uniforms, except this time the uniform is red.
But you know what? Why would you want to escape the uniform? It comes back to the point is that a lot of people get a lot of good out of Christmas. Why would you want to escape it? Christmas to me provides stability. For my idea of Christmas is the same programs are on, you eat the same meal, you're with your family, the same things happen every year. It's something to look forward to where you think no matter what's going on in my life, no matter how many bad things have happened, no matter how much shit I've seen, I've got Christmas and I know it's going to be the same every year and it's stable. Why can't we give people stability? What's wrong with that?
Chris, that's like institutionalization. That's conditioning. That's exactly what it...
Sometimes institutionalization is not a bad thing.
What? Like not being able to think for yourself and not questioning something? I mean, even people who may not agree with what I'm saying here, which I accept is virtually everybody, have to accept that there's a point there, that we're conditioned. We're even conditioned by the fact that we see the snowman every Christmas, you know, that we're walking in the...
Terrible.
Yeah.
Because, speaking of the snowman, how do you feel about the same Christmas movies being played every year?
Love
the
it.
reliability of knowing that Home Alone and Die Hard is going to be on every single
obviously the
Christmas.
best Christmas movie out there.
Okay, that
Yeah,
is true.
you can't argue
that is,
against that.
there's
Can't
no
argue
arguing
against
with
that.
that. That
There's
is the best
one pro
Christmas.
for
Actually,
Christmas.
the best Christmas movie of all time is Bad Santa. You want a good Christmas movie? Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton. Awesome. It sums up the spirit of what I'm
But you
talking
go back
about.
to it's back to the reliability thing again. The reliability of knowing what's coming up. I take your point about institutionalization, but I say 364 days of the year, I could be out there fucking skiing down a mountain in my underpants if I wanted to, breaking out of the mold. But for that one day, I'm quite happy to sit there and be institutionalized.
Do you not think the way Christmas is sold to us is going to make us all feel inadequate about how much we earn, how great our families are? Do you feel happy?
I feel happy at Christmas because, to be honest, I think there's a break here. If you watch all of these things and you take it all in, you think, right, I'm going to have a happy family and I'm going to have this wonderful life and all these great presents. Fine, you can be taken in by that. You can believe that if you want to. So the realist in me suggests, I'm not going to have all that, but I can still have a bloody good Christmas without it.
Look, I'm actually going to jump in on this one here because pointing up, let's say, we'll call it the Hollywood aspect of Christmas, yeah? There's something very dangerous in that. A movie I love, believe it or not, is It's a Wonderful Life with James Stewart.
Cracker.
But, and I mean, it's very much a movie about meaning, and it takes a kind of a dark aspect on Christmas and it highlights loneliness. But also, and this is the Hollywood side of it, all these movies, all these stories end with a happy ending. What happens for most people who are on the outside, who are
Wait a
kind of
minute, I'm gonna
refugees
jump
from
in.
Christmas, well,
That
you can
doesn't end with a happy ending.
It does end with a happy ending.
It doesn't
He
end with a
realises-
happy ending.
What does it end with?
The bad guy at the end of that film, who's bankrupted his family entirely, still gets all his money, still goes off into
But
the
he doesn't
sunset.
kill himself. James Stewart doesn't kill himself.
great, he
This
doesn't
is
kill
the
himself,
and
but-
he has his family. He realizes the value of all of that. So that is a happy ending. But the truth of the matter is, how for I would describe myself as a refugee from Christmas. You know, seeking asylum somewhere, anywhere. For most people who are on the outside of the whole Christmas experience, it's a case that you go through it and then at the end of it, everything's exactly the same. Things return to exactly the way they were. Even for the people who enjoy the Christmas, you know, it just all goes to exactly the same. It's just the same monotony and the same boredom. And I find that Christmases, you know, Christmases with or without family, and I've had both, that one way or the other, it's like Groundhog Day. It's like the same thing on a loop over and over and over again.
Someone actually commented on our Facebook page to say that Christmas changes for you when you start to have siblings that get children. When you're small, you love Christmas. When you grow up and your brothers and sisters are pains in the asses, you begin to hate Christmas. But then as brothers and sisters tend to get married and have children and things, kids come back into the house, the whole Santa thing starts again, and you re-love Christmas. That was a really good comment that was posted on our Facebook page earlier on. What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely true. I mean, I don't have brothers and sisters, but I think it's a true phenomenon that Christmas does change as you go on. As you move into adulthood, it takes on different roles. And I think, for me, personally, the idea is, and the constant, I suppose, is you can have Jay's perspective. You can be down on Christmas. You don't want to be with your family. That's
Excuse me, I'm realistic about Christmas.
No, you're
and I'm putting out a
one
very
side.
unpopular viewpoint about Christmas.
It's one side, though.
It
At the
is
end of the
one
day,
side,
you're
yeah.
going to hate your family. If you hate your family on Christmas, you're probably going to hate your family the rest of the year round. At the end of the day, at least Christmas sort of brings you together and gives you that one sliver of hope that you might be able to find something nice about them.
I think it's an Irish thing as well. If you want to spend, doing the American, I love my family so much and we all get on like BFFs. It's so unrealistic for so many Irish people. We're much more likely to get together and all sit at a table and go, where's the dinner? then,
Yeah.
hey guys, we're
Yeah.
together.
Well, see,
So-
yeah, in the UK, you've got games, you've got, party things, you get your neighbours come round and they have mince pies and cherries and all of that kind of thing, and it's quite a community thing, certainly from my own experience.
It's still in the UK.
Still a community
You would
thing.
actually still say that it's very much a community kind of a thing?
I would say so, yeah.
And-
I would say,
but would
and
you
that's
say
a great
that-
element.
Are you sure that isn't just in your community?
It
Is that a
might-
widespread thing?
It might well be. I mean, I suppose it brings back to the thing that you've got more people going to church than ever, than any
And
other
how's
day.
that a good thing? Quite seriously. I mean, people turning up at church one time in the year.
Well, it's
I
the
mean, that
most they're
just
gonna get.
emphasises the sheer emptiness of the whole thing as well.
Well,
I mean, like, they'll go along
Got a
one
very
time.
valid point.
Yeah,
It is
I mean,
empty.
it is.
It's false.
No, I think it's as empty
false,
as-
and it's actually endorsing dishonesty. It's
what?
endorsing the
Christmas-
falseness. It's
Christmas
endorsing
is
the
as
emptiness.
Christmas is as empty as you want to make it. It's so easy to take that perspective, to take the negative side of things, to be cynical about something, to
Not
say,
about
I
Christmas.
hate it. It
No,
is
not
easy
about
to be
Christmas,
cynical
Chris.
about Christmas. We're sat here and we've debated it. It's easy to be cynical and it's easy to say these things. What's harder is to say it's empty and it's unfulfilled, but to actually put something in it, to fill that void, to find something, that little kernel that you actually like about Christmas and to extrapolate that into something more.
I'd like to share what makes me lonely about Christmas with the world. I am a vegetarian, which means that last Christmas
And therefore a fool.
I got a baby bowl with mashed potato, a Brussels sprout, and mashed carrot in it for Christmas. This isn't fair. So this is what I find lonely about Christmas.
So the one thing we found out about that is don't be a vegetarian on Christmas.
But it just makes everything worse, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
But
well, it certainly makes it less tasty,
So
doesn't
look,
it?
Breed, in terms of our argument, where do we go from here? How do we actually change this? I mean,
Yes.
I don't think either of us are ever going to be reconciled on this point fully.
Okay, there is a minority. How do we fix it for the people who don't like Christmas?
I think, look, it really comes back to a basic thing, which is live and let live. If people don't particularly get into the whole Christmas thing or have their own way of doing it, like an orphan's party or whatever, you know what? Live and let live. Don't come along with the attitude of, oh, but it's Christmas. Fuck off.
And I suppose for my side of things is, you know what, if you like Christmas, you love the Christmas spirit, you need to actually put that out there and share it. And think in the back of your mind when you're walking down the street for the 364 days of the year. And
When you don't care about
When you
people.
don't care and you see that person on the street with his cup in his hand and he's not got his Santa hat on and his dog's not got the reindeer ears, you need to give that person some money. You need to, if you believe in the spirit of Christmas, that spirit needs to happen all year round.
So, in essence, carry the spirit of Christmas with you all year long. This is Breed, Chris and Jay saying Merry Christmas, world.